Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is episode 1, basically, of our feature film becoming a reality. Today I'm going to be brainstorming all my ideas and putting them on paper, on little flashcards. We're gonna organize them, lay them out, and just get them written down. That's the most important thing. You know, we as creatives deal with the struggle of putting things from here onto paper or onto the screen, and so that's what this is designed to do. It's gonna cut all of that out. We're gonna sit down, we're gonna do it, and you know what, I invite you to do it with me. Watch this video, and then you turn the camera off, you turn YouTube off, and you go write your ideas down, get them down, and let me know if this process worked for you or how it helped. But today I'm going to put all of my ideas onto little flashcards or little sticky notes, and I'm just gonna lay them out, and we're kind of gonna piece them together, and it's gonna give us the structure or a potential outline for how we want to write and then film this idea. So I'm super excited. I've actually written this story over and over again. I've written the intro, I've written the outline, so it's been in my head for over 7 years at least. And so I'm really excited to get back to it and to give it some structure, give it some life, and see where it takes us. So this process is very helpful to me, and I hope it's helpful to you. So let me know what you think of it. Go ahead and send me a little comment down there in the comment section, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. And if you are, interested in the journey and seeing where it goes, seeing if I'm a man of my word and I do execute this feature film, please head over to my YouTube channel and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for your time and attention. Let's get into it. So that was pretty fruitful, super quick. I mean, that can almost be an exercise of speed. I think I spent less than really 30 minutes, and of course I had everything in my head already, so that's different. But I've done this exercise before, and it works really well for me, and it just helps me really map out my scenes and the way things happen in my head. And it's the first time that I really reveal plot holes or mistakes, or how do I get from this to this. As you can see, or as you saw from the time lapse, there were times where I would kind of only put one up here and skip a couple, and that's because I knew that in my head chronologically certain scenes couldn't happen before others. So it gives me the opportunity to see where my holes are and what I need to really work on. So I'll just briefly kind of go through so you can see my train of thought isn't perfection, right? We start off, again, this is a feature film that I am writing and hope to produce. And so we start with scene 1, the perils of the kingdom leech off of and attack the poor. A mother has no choice but to give up her 2 baby twin brothers. Okay, the next scene here, we go to the babies are floating down a river through a majestic forest, and sort of like fairies, imagine fairies and magical creatures, and just the forest really helping these babies safely get down the river. In the next scene, we see the forest emperor grabs the boys into his care and raises the boys with the help of the forest. That means all the creatures, etc. So this scene, these 2 scenes, the boys are playing in the forest and enjoying the world as it is and the beauty of the forest. I really want to show the beauty of the forest in these 2, and we just want to show the forest is really raising these 2 boys. Okay, and then we go here, the Emperor's powers appear supreme, not forefront, but controlled power, and he uses it only for good to instruct the boys. So the point of this is to show that the emperor has a lot of power, but he doesn't use it for bad, or he doesn't abuse his power. Excuse me, he doesn't abuse his power, so to be a role model for the boys and their future. All right, and then we go over to the lamb is killed. The boys must learn their first lesson of life and death. The circle of life and the part of the emperor to understand the beauty of life, listen, love, and hope for new life. That is true power. So this is the end of this intro sequence right here. This first row, it concludes with a hard lesson, a sacrifice, and understanding of the circle of life. Very much something you would see in Lion King, but in this perspective, it'll be a creature of the forest dies, and the boys have to learn the hard way that what the circle of the forest life is, and what their purpose is, and what the forest emperor's true purpose is in the forest. Down here, sequence 2, we go. And we are introduced to a beautiful girl who is hardworking and kind. She serves her blind father and loves him greatly. So we're actually going to totally switch sort of gears and go into the village where the kingdom where the mom first gave up her 2 babies. We're going back into that kingdom. We're going into the village, and we see her interact with her blind father. She's a hard worker. She does her best to pay off the bills, etc. And it's just them 2. The girl comes home in this scene right here. The girl comes home, and the father has taken the executive decision to marry her off into wealth, and she totally disapproves of that and runs away. Lo and behold, she runs into the forest and meets one of the brothers. He sort of studies her. I pulled this scene really from Legend. I love the scene from Legend, how Tom Cruise is like hiding kind of in the forest and studying Lily. So very much pulling from that. The brother is studying her curiously. He's never seen her or a beautiful girl before. So watches her, and then they meet. So he comes down to her, and she's interested in him. He's a good-looking fellow and nice and kind and kind of not otherworldly, but different, very different, raised by the forest. So she's attracted to that and wants to meet back with him again. The brother tells the forest emperor of his meeting, that he met the girl, and he advises against ever seeing her again. Kind of talks about the world that she comes from and how different it is, and how their worlds cannot really live together. You cannot be of the kingdom, of the village, and of the forest. You can't be of both worlds. You're fighting for 2 different sides. So the beginning of sequence 3, the girl comes looking once again for the brother and finds him. He, of course, can't help himself and brings her a very, very beautiful gift from the forest, and something like flowers or gems, something very beautiful. And he can't help but show her the secrets of the forest, the majesty of the forest, gives her the grand tour, and she's totally blown away. At the end of the day, she promises she will keep it all a secret, and even sort of proposes being a forest queen with the brother. And he's just totally enamored by all of this. But we find out that the second brother was watching this whole thing take place. So then we go here, and the brother who met the girl makes a case with the forest emperor that she's different, and they can have different, and she can be a part of the world, and they can do this. And the emperor is sort of entertained by all this. But the forest emperor decides that it's time to show his 2 sons, the 2 brothers, the forbidden tree of the forest, which is symbolic for the Garden of Eden, the lifeblood of the forest. And so the emperor takes them there and basically explains this last lesson, that this is the tree of life, and if it's ever picked, then it will have a negative effect on the forest, and the forest will die as a result. Then we go to here, the Forest Emperor confronts his fate. So after teaching them this lesson, the Forest Emperor kind of goes off on his own, goes to one of the tallest trees in the forest and looks over at the kingdom, and knows that we get this, you know, high view from his perspective, that he knows what his fate is. He can see it coming. He knows that in the end he will have to sort of make a sacrifice for everything that's going on, and that's what that scene is supposed to do. All right, fourth sequence, the girl returns sort of out of jealousy. The second brother cuts brother one off, goes looking for her, and kind of steals her attention out of jealousy in order to win the girl over. There's nothing that brother one hasn't showed her about the majesty of the forest, and so what does he do? Brother number two, in an attempt to win the girl's favor, takes her to the forbidden tree. And yes, of course, through temptation, the brother and the girl eat the forbidden fruit. While brother one's ignorance is bliss, still enjoys his relationship with the emperor and forest. So brother number one, who initially discovered the girl, is enjoying the sort of innocence of the forest and his relationship with the emperor still, but is heartbroken when he finds out that his brother has stolen the girl. And at the end of this scene, basically the brother who ate the forbidden fruit with the girl, they have to discover some type of plan to banish them or keep them away from. So the emperor is sort of punishing him. Again, she returns and pretty much is addicted to the fruit and the life and the wisdom and the magic that it gives her, which is the lifeblood of the forest. She's addicted to it. They consume far too much of it, and what they discover at the end of that is it has actually damaged the forest for the first time, and the emperor is now growing weak. So the boy and the girl, when they discover that the forest has sort of grown dim, that it's lost a little bit of life, they get in a fight. They push each other away. She flees back home, sort of terrified from the scenery, and he goes back to the emperor, who is like deathly ill and immediately regrets everything that has already transpired. So we go into the final sequence of events. The girl returns home to find out that her father has not paid taxes in years and will be thrown in jail, where he will rot and die if they don't do something. She decides she's going to sell out the forbidden fruit tree and promises this wealthy life and beautiful magic of the forest that you can consume to the king of the kingdom, and leads them to the forbidden tree, where of course the king tries it, eats it, and they harvest the entire thing, and in one go the forest is killed. So the second brother number two, devastated from what he has done through all of this, in an attempt to redeem himself, gives his life sort of defending the tree at the end against the entire kingdom. He fights them and dies, and dies at the tree, spills his blood at the tree. And the first brother, who retained his innocence and relationship with the emperor, with the dying of the forbidden forest tree, he watches the emperor die and take his last breath, and then the emperor gives him the reins to become the new forest emperor. And he doesn't know how that is, because the forest is now dead. The girl has one last request. After the forest dies, she only wanted love and happiness and peace at the end of all this, and everybody has sort of suffered along the way. The forest is now dead, and she regrets everything, and sort of pleads and prays to the forest emperor to help redeem her and just please for this life. What we find out, the ending of this all, is that after the boy, brother number 1, gets his crown of the forest, we find out that the blood of brother 2 planted a new forbidden fruit tree and gives new life to the forest. So it's in the end it's a changing of seats. The brother becomes a new tree and the other brother becomes the emperor, and in that way they're still kind of one, which gives you a little hope for the ending. But it's a changing of seats, and kind of the foreshadowing in the story is that at the beginning the forest emperor picks up these 2 boys because he is looking to retire, and through this sort of hoopla, Romeo and Juliet / Much Ado About Nothing, but beauty and majesty of the forest, we learn that there's sacrifice, and a lot of the Bible and biblical stories come into this, and it's very symbolic, of course. So this is my outline, and like I said, the benefits of sort of brainstorming and planning it out are awesome. So I hope this helps you. I hope that some of you, might be just interested in coming along for the ride and seeing what is in store with the Forest Emperor. So let me know what you think, for those of you who watched the whole video. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today, and have a great day. I'll see you next time. Peace.